It's Sunday, it's January 21st, 2024. I just attended Zoom. I attended church via Zoom due to the injury that I have right now, where I'm on the crutches with the broken leg. I was on this particular iPad, um, and as I'm watching the service before it began, when the music was playing, I noticed it's like ever the scientific eye. I noticed through the windows the amount of sunlight that their camera system was catching. Same thing I've caught in the area, but on my own telephone camera. And again, this much alone time, this much observatory time, this much solitude, you know, the only person to balance things off of is yourself. So of course, in my own mind's eye, it's, well, could it be it's just my camera? But then again, of course, my camera's to my dimensions. So thinking to myself, no, the sunlight coming in through the camera in the dimension. And again, I don't have high scientific, like astronaut words for these things from the aeronautical department that has some ISO or like their own level of language of how they describe that level of scientific discovery or whatever they're working off of. Um, at this point, somebody taught it to them, so there's got to be this whatever in this level of theater. So I am just in this in God we trust area, and I have my own sunlight issues going on. It's just very high photonic level. Um, Again, I've tried to read a book called Neutron Stars. Same time I was trying to read the John Glenn book, The Godspeed. Um, so I am just, not to offend Armstrong and his Ohio position, since that's the name that they chose. And again, it's neither here nor there for me. That's part of something else that goes on between two seaboards and one General George Washington and one First President George Washington and a whatever. Um, and this one ONEGOD in the trust. Um, so I took photos of it. Again, I weigh out, like, is it appropriate? Is it not appropriate? Is the scientific discovery more important than some other arguments some novice might make? Yeah, because it does speak to the sense of the sunlight in my dimension, with my camera light and the photons, where like my actual, it's affecting my eyes as well. I'm starting to have reduced vision, in the sense of when there's someone standing between my person and the sunlight outside in a room, their face is now shadowed. I can't make out their facial features anymore. Um, this also speaks to something I have going on at an I hate to say the word chemistry, because again that goes back to like synthetics and natural markets, which I'm not speaking on or making light of. But there's something metabolic or electrolyte wise, and it's in an intracellular and an interstitial chemistry space. I'm not taking any oral medications, but there is this deficiency. Phosphorus now is what they've given. So I'm just marking it. I took some photos of the camera. I was watching it through the iPad, but the camera was on the side of wherever the church's dimension is. And through their windows, it is this absorbent amount of photon light. Um, which again, with these visionary changes that I'm having, like through my own ocular, um, and the iris, and for lack of a better term, I mean, like when I used microscopes in the laboratory, they refer to oil immersion, as I suppose what the eyesight actually is. If I, again, I've had lots of time to think on how the body and the mind work in all of this, whatever that's going on here. Um, but I thought it worth a mention, um, that the amount of sunlight just seems to be at this incredible burning brightness. Um, and it feels like it's damaging to the human. Um, and again, I'm not quite sure where on the scale of humanity that level of concern goes to in this, like, one all knowing, seeing concept of a father who loves us and watches over us and doesn't want to see me go blind. Um, there is that assumption. Again, I met a man with gray trousers once. I wrote about him this morning. I really saw myself going on a life journey with someone like that, um, and loving someone like that, and him reciprocating, um, that shoulder to cry on, over 6 foot, and really actually cared about me and the birth of my special timed whatever for RH, in this RH category that's sensitive to other things. So uh, that, just because I went to a Catholic school that had gray trousers, and I don't want cheerleading squad and any of them to get confused with St. Dom's and the gray trousered man, who came after Benjamin was born. We met in Smithtown. Peter was there, but not Jason's father, Peter, a different Peter, the one I was working for at Merrill. And then I blacked out. And then I came to, and I was at Mike Kelly's house. Some 3-letter designation of SAI. No idea what that's about. And then I blacked out again, and I woke up in a taxi cab on my way home to Jason at 2 Miller Drive in Lake Grove. And I professed to him just how miserable I was and how I did not want to be married to him. Um, and that was it. Um, but the man in the gray trousers is what I wanted to marry, not like the crazy donkey meeting that led to this marriage to Jason, who, in hindsight, looking back, his favorite movie is Star Wars, and they use the Imperial March down the aisle or into the after with TJ the DJ, and Apple Entertainment. I mean, to feel as though you are the butt of someone else's joke for this long into the journey, it's just, it just speaks to how little, as much as they profess how much they care, how little they care for the actual individual and person and the birth of the special timed child in this RH category. I know somewhere someone cares. I call him Special Task Force Mark. I don't know what else to call him. He's the one, I don't know, again. He's just my eo mio. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It just feels like there's so much attempt to upstage. And I see it everywhere. Like this morning, I documented this IDF soldier who's a mother who is running. I mean, like she's an Israeli soldier campaigning for a spot in Congress within American boundaries and borders. As far as an American theater company, it is very concerning that, I mean, so I captured it as best I could on my device to document it for my own purpose, I suppose. Um, but I see it a lot with the Gail King and with this talking of King Charles being Charles Barkley, and then the Northeast when Bill Belichick left as the New England Patriots. Then it's like I'm just I'm as an American theater company and in this In God We Trust, it is very concerning. Not pledging allegiance to anything other than my one son, but um, I am concerned. I have a lot of concern. Um, they mentioned Utah with Wiley on the FBI list with his 80 wives, and I'm like balancing that out with this thought and concept New York talks about with Allah and his 72 virgins, and I'm just like, my God, there's so much folklore. Um, It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy, broken. And somewhere there's a mountain range, calls itself the Tetons. They said nobody knows what that means. And I'm like, all right. Somewhere someone knows what it means.